Hello, this video is going to cover a little about myself and why I started the Common Sense brand. My name is Olivia Gum and I was born in Middle Tennessee and raised a pretty normal lifestyle. Throughout school, I was always a teacher's pet and took honors courses, but I learned a couple of things from that. Being a teacher's pet and putting in the extra work rarely gets you anything. Looking back, I would have focused more on making friends and not worrying about homework. By senior year, I started to become pessimistic about the whole education system. Some of my friends were going to tech school because they thought it was their only option. Others worked on scholarships so hard to not get anything and have to settle with their second or third choices. And others were easily accepted into college because of their money, sports, or other connections. Therefore, I didn't apply to any school, surprising most of my family and friends, and ended up taking an air quote gap year. After graduating, I took about a year working 80 hours a week at 2 restaurant jobs. I saved up a lot of money and decided to move to a big city because I wasn't used to anything besides my Middle Tennessee small town. But New York City was too expensive, so I decided on Chicago. And within a week of getting there, I got a job in a place. Although the place was $850 to share a bedroom with someone. Living in a big city really opened my eyes and showed me how much differently other people's lifestyles could be. After my expensive sublease was over, instead of moving to another place in Chicago or going back home, I was craving another extreme lifestyle to live out in the wild. So with the same spontaneity, I bought a plane ticket to Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, in hopes to live in a cabin in the woods. The Canadian mountains had the most beautiful scenery, but talking to other backpackers at the hostel showed me that I wasn't all that prepared. I didn't have or know how to use bear spray. So I decided to take another direction to Calgary. Calgary, Alberta made me realize how similar Canada was to the USA. And I kind of went to a different country expecting or wanting a culture shock. So I had the bright idea to take a Greyhound bus, which took 4 days, to Montreal, French Quebec. I stayed there a few months, almost towards the winter season, so I got to ice skate almost every day. I met new people at the hostel almost every night, and again, it did open my eyes to different lifestyles. Then I started to get a little homesick, or rather, I started running out of the money that I saved. So I decided to come back home for my 20th birthday. I moved back in with my dad, started a job at Walmart, and got a scholarship to go to tech school for CAD design because I was interested in designing and architecture. But I started to feel really stuck again and depressed. I felt trapped in the system. I graduated from that tech school and applied for jobs, but while waiting for interviews, I got impatient for waiting for callbacks. And in that time, I ended up joining the Army National Guard. I don't think I would have joined the military if I didn't get the MOS or job that I was luckily able to get, a public affairs mass communications specialist. For 6 months, I was trained on how to take pictures, record video, and edit, graphic design, and write stories for the Army. The biggest reason that I joined was I was just curious about the military lifestyle and this extreme form of conformity. I thought maybe signing a contract and committing to something like that would make me more stable in other areas of my life. So I did my training basic in AIT during COVID 2020 and came back in 2021 in May with a bit of savings and began working temp through an app called Manolo and started freelancing through Upwork since now I had the video editing skills. I've always been interested in having a job that I could do on my computer anywhere I wanted and whatever time I wanted. So I'm really grateful for the Army for teaching me those skills and having the official resume. So now I'm doing that full time from my apartment. I just turned 24 yesterday and I want to make this year the best yet. Because of my different point of view from the different ways I've lived in these last couple of years, it has expanded my view about money and our relationship with it, and control over it and its control over us. My hope for the Common Sense brand will be a community where we talk about our different lifestyles, jobs, and values, and how money influences our decisions. The goal is for a broader perception or awareness, more freedom and control, and possibly mend the trauma or wrongs we've been taught about money and capitalism. I want to experiment with a few different mediums, writing articles, YouTube videos, and podcasts. To further gain expertise, I want to start an economics degree and possibly classes in psychology and journalism as minors. It's just crazy to me that there's therapy for relationships with family and parents and siblings, and for trauma like war and abuse, for PTSD, but not any therapy for our relationship with money. Money affects our choices more than anything else, conscious and unconscious. From where we live, who we talk to, what our priorities are, what's considered a good life, are all revolving around the dollar. I don't know what the rest of my life will look like or the next 5 years, but helping people make better, more informed choices around money sounds like a good place to start and super interesting. Common Sense is a brand, my hopes, and also my identity. All of my social media is in the description. Thank you for listening, and I hope you tune in for future videos, podcasts, and articles.